Why, hi there. Come on, get off that part. Why, hi there. I'm Ron Juckett, and it's time for the DoDCast postgame show for this August 30th, 2017. And it's a very, very, very happy recap. I thought we were going to do this at 7:30. We finished this game 45 minutes early as Steven Strasburg throws a 4-0 shutout over the Miami Marlins. It's his first complete game since 2013, and the Washington Nationals have absolutely slammed the door on the Miami Marlins. They now hold a 15-game lead in the National League East with a month to go in the season. 2 home runs today. Strasburg hit one, and Defoe hit one. How about that? So they do it by speed, they're doing it by pitching, they're doing it by defense. And right now, they are just winning. That is their 81st win of the year, and they've clinched a winning season. And it's not September 1st. There's 30 games to go. They've won 81. So let's get you the totals. Miami falls to WNBC, 66-66, or WFAN, if you will. They had no runs on 6 hits and no errors. The Nats go to 30 above 500. They are 81-51, 4 runs on 10 hits and no errors. Steven Strasburg with his first complete game, as I said, since 2013, nearly 4 years. He goes to 11-4. He threw 110 pitches. Remember now, we're going to go to a 6-man rotation at least the next time through. So he'll get an extra day of rest. Connolly from Miami goes to 6-6. And whatever momentum the Marlins might have had coming into the series has been dashed. 3 huge wins for the Nets. Trey Turner, by the way, did have a stolen base today. Rendon and Defoe, 2 hits apiece today. In my next life, I want a mouse I can actually get through. Strasburg with 2 hits today. He also golfed in a single after the home run. So Rendon with his 34th double. Worth with his 6th of the year. Strasburg and Defoe with the homers. And outside of that, there were 6 singles. Here's sometimes why runners in scoring position is a bad stat. Today they were 1 for 9 and still won 4-0. They stranded 8. The game should have been even a bigger one-sided margin. Strasburg has a game score today of 88. 9 innings, 6 hits, no runs, 1 walk, and 8 strikeouts. And of those 110 pitches, he threw 78 strikes and lowers his ERA to 2.90. What a stand and deliver performance this entire week. Took 2 hours and 36 minutes to play, by the way. Just this entire series has just been tremendous baseball. Oops, I think I just kicked my cat. For the Nationals, right from the return of Jason Worth and Trey Turner to Wilmer Defoe now having an 8-game hitting streak where he was hitting at 1.406 to Steven Strasburg. I mean, no one saw this coming from him. Nobody at all saw this coming from him. I mean, he left in his last start after cramps in Houston. It was a 78-degree day, and he just went out there and pitched the game of his life. An absolute stunningly beautiful game to watch, as my friend Sim Alex said in Twitter. Hi, Al. How you doing? Good to talk to you. So the final Washington 4, Miami nothing. And, hey, I see you in the chat. Give me something to chat, chat with us. Tell us what you thought of the game. It's a 4-game set now in Milwaukee after this, and Eric Fetty will probably join the rotation. So we'll do 1 sweep of 6, and then I think we'll just kind of go from there, just because things are pretty much set up now for the playoffs, and it's important. I should get centered in the camera here. And I lost my train of thought. There's no reason to stretch these people out. Just give them their full starts. And look, the bullpen gets a full day of rest. before going to Milwaukee. That's big. Kinsler was warming in the 9th, but didn't need to come in. Okay, Double Mr. Clean asks, I haven't talked to you. How you doing, Double Mr. Clean? Hi, Ron. Will the Nats go after a catcher before the deadline? The deadline is Friday morning at midnight because that's September 1st. I don't think so. I think that I think catching is a problem, or backup catching is a problem. Look, Wieters, I believe, is hitting 340 in the last week. Loves to hit it at Nats Park. Lobaton is not having a good year, even though he did almost throw out a runner today. And I don't say that in jest. He actually had a good he did throw out a runner today. It was a good throw. With the rosters expanding, I just think that Severino will get some playing time. Lobaton, I believe, is a free agent after this year. Wieters, I'd be stunned if he opted out of his contract at this point. He's due $10.5 million next year, and I don't see anyone paying him that. So I guess the long answer, Double Mr. Clean, is no. I really don't think so, only because Severino is available once the rosters expand, and since he did play before September 1st, he is playoff eligible. It'd be interesting to see if there's actually if Lobaton would not make a playoff roster. You know, it's one of those storylines that you could watch going into September. Al, Red Sox fan, asks, Ron, will the Nats start 3 in the first playoff series, and who will they be? They'll go with 4. And it will be, if I was to guess today, I would say it would be Max in Game 1, Gio in Game 2, Strasburg in Game 3, and Roark in Game 4. That would save Scherzer for either Game 5 or Game 1 against whoever they would face in the NLCS. So you might see it in a World Series, or if they had something to, time to set up a best of 7, but not in a best of 5. I think you'll see. I don't think they're going to skip Roark. So again, my guess is it's going to be Scherzer, Gio Gonzalez, Strasburg, because Gio's having a tremendous year at Nats Park, with Roark going a potential Game 4, and that frees up Scherzer to pitch in Game 5 like last year, with Edwin Jackson being there for long relief, and depending on what Eric Fetty does over the month of September, he might crack that bullpen too. So I don't see 3. It's kind of hard to do that now, Al, with so many playoff games. Double Mr. Clean says, I have no problem with Wieters, but the backup is another story. Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. But I think that Severino will get some playing time in September, and I think one of the two will be there. I mean, if Lobaton doesn't make the roster, the only time you'd use a backup catcher in the playoffs anyway, my dear friend, is if Wieters got hurt. And if they got hurt, I mean, just like what happened to Wilson Ramos last year in the postseason, or in the late part of September, and they went with Lobe and Severino in the playoffs. It didn't really hurt them. I mean, Lobaton, if he can get it together, is a decent backup catcher, but that just hasn't happened this year. And I really think that Severino will be on the opening day roster as a catcher for the Washington Nationals next year, but I do think he's a backup. I do think it's going to be Wieters. All right, let's take a look at the Major League scoreboard. A bunch of double headers today. Let's see what matters for the playoffs, shall we? All right, these games are final. Atlanta beat Philadelphia 9-1 in the opener of a doubleheader at Citizens Bank. Milwaukee beat St. Louis 6-5. St. Louis, by the way, traded Mike Leake to Seattle. So I think the Cardinals have kind of bagged the season. Baltimore has won 7 straight. They beat Seattle today 8-7 up in Baltimore. Justin Verlander got a win today in Colorado. The Tigers beat the Rockies 6-2. That matters for the wild card race. Certainly does help Milwaukee. Doesn't help Miami at all because they were swept. Cleveland and New York are in the middle of a doubleheader, and I only mentioned that because I started to mention the score. Cleveland won the first game 2-1. They lead the second game 5-1. Atlanta leads Philadelphia in the nightcap of the doubleheader 5-1. Tough break for the Phils. Looks like they're going to get swept there. They just got to the bottom of the ninth. National League games of interest, Mets and Reds at 7. Pittsburgh and Chicago at 8:05. Dodgers and Diamondbacks at 9:40. So that's the schedule for tonight. Like I said, this is a big blow for the Marlins' wild card chances getting swept. They really needed to get something out of this series. They really wanted to get 2 out of 3. But the Nats had solid pitching all the way around all 3 games, including Ejax last night, and they're just hitting again. This is the team that we saw back in April and May. They're just clicking on all cylinders. Double Mr. Clean says, I would call up Severino and Keyboom. Of course, the roster move would have to be made for them. Not after Friday, not after tomorrow. They don't need to make any more room for anybody because the rosters go from 25 to 40, and Severino is already on the extended 40-man roster. I don't think Keyboom is, and you're not going to release a player this late in the year. I mean, Lobaton is going to be with the team through the end of the regular season. I don't know if that means that he's going to be on the playoff roster. But they're not going to let Lobaton go now. I was kind of a proponent for Kurt Suzuki at some point. But they have what they have, and with now a 15-game lead in the division, he can't hurt them anymore. They pretty much have it wrapped up. The magic number is now 16. If everything went right, if the Nats won their next 8 and the Marlins lost their next 8, as my camera goes out of focus, they could conceivably clinch as early as September 8th. That's pretty good. That's, of course, assuming that I haven't blown a day off in there somewhere along the line. And trust me, it does happen. So, I mean, as I said on Twitter, you wondered if you were wondering what kind of playoff shape the Nationals were in going into this series, because the Marlins, I believe, had won 14 out of 16 coming into this. I mean, Miami was playing really good baseball. They held stand to the 1 home run. He hit it Tuesday off of Edwin Jackson. I mean, Yelich hit the cover off the ball. Real Muto and Ozuna are good hitters. They had a good series, but they really couldn't get support from anyone else. D. Gordon knows how to get on base. Man, he is fast. And the Nats made it look, at least for 2 of the 3 games, they made it look relatively easy. And when they had the tough game last night, they won. So just overall a very good series for the Nats. And just when you wanted to see it, I mean, this really does mean an awful lot. Let's see. Houston and the Mets, by the way, I mentioned this coming up over the weekend. They have determined that they can actually play in Houston at Minute Maid Park, but it'll be a doubleheader on Saturday and a single game Sunday. And both players from both teams on the off day tomorrow are going to organize assisting the communities affected by Hurricane Harvey, passing out food and helping in whatever way that they can. So that's great that both teams are going to do that. All right, I believe everything in the minor leagues is about to start. So let's take a look real quick at what you can expect. Oh, they've started. Must have started at 6:30. Lehigh Valley and Syracuse have started. Syracuse, no score in the top of the second. A.J. Cole pitching for the Chiefs. Akron and Harrisburg, bottom 2, no score. Justin Bieber pitching for Akron. No, not really. It's not Justin Bieber. But Perez is pitching for Harrisburg. Potomac and Lynchburg, top of the second, no score. Masters pitching for Potomac. Delmarva and Hagerstown will start at the top of the hour. Bramer pitching for Hagerstown. Auburn is at Williamsport tonight. Cherubi pitching for Auburn. And that's it from the minor leagues tonight. So it's a 4-game set coming up in Milwaukee. The last scheduled 8 o'clock games of the regular season tonight and tomorrow night and Friday night, with a 7 o'clock game Saturday and a day game on Sunday. And I believe you will not see, well, you certainly won't see Strasburg I'm not sure if you're going to see Ejax or not, but you will see Gio, Roark, Scherzer, and I believe Eric Fetty after the first. I don't need to hold him back for those 10 days. All right. What did we do on the site today? Ricky Keeler talked about Victor Robles and all the prospects called up to do duty in the Arizona Fall League. You can check that one out on the site. And I wrote a piece on how small ball is helping the Nats progress to the playoffs. Yes, they hit the home runs today, but their ability to manufacture runs through speed and forcing action along just makes this team even more dangerous than they were before. So check those articles out at districtondeck.com. Ricky will have the 5 storylines to watch for the Milwaukee series tomorrow. And what's the other one? And I'll have something for noon time. I'm not sure what it is yet. Seth Romero is pitching for Auburn tonight. Did I not mention that? Anyway, okay. So Seth Romero is pitching for Auburn, and he is considered the top pitching prospect in the Nationals organization. He's not going to do Arizona Fall League ball. They'll shut him down, and I'm sure he'll play full season A next year. So that will about do it for me. Unless you guys have anything, you can give this video a like and subscribe here on YouTube. Give us a like on Facebook. We post everything there along with cute little pictures and all that. Follow us on Twitter. We live tweet every game at District on Deck. This is my 66th game this year. Wow. Ricky will be with you for the Thursday and Friday affairs, and I'll be with you for all the weekend coverage. This is my 67th game, I think. And, of course, the name of the website is District on Deck. Please go over there and read to your heart's content. Al, Red Sox fan, says fundamentals help. Yes, they do, and they've been really good at it. They're now 29-15 since the All-Star break. They help a lot, something the Red Sox struggle with. Don't get me started there. Don't get me started there. Anyway, so for Ricky Keeler and the rest of my friends at District on Deck, I'm Ron Juckett. Have a good night. Ricky will talk to you tomorrow. Good night.